folks, Sandamtod here. Mitch Waspspray tagged me with a controller tag about 4 or 5 days ago, and I totally spaced it off. So sorry, Mitch, but we're gonna do it. We didn't forget. Totally forget. Anyway, I kind of forgot. Not wearing the glasses, and I'm not wearing the hat because Retro Gamer VX requested that I do a video without them. I shall, but this might be one of the only, so enjoy it. I think it was your two favorite controllers and your two least favorite controllers, and why. And so we're going to get rolling. You might be able to guess one of my least favorites. And I think I've talked about it before. It's almost a console killer for me in a way. And that'd be the Nintendo 64 controller. Look at the size of this beast. Why does it have two wings? You never really hold it like this. Why does it have this second piece at all? Or either piece for that matter. There are a lot of fake ones that don't even have these pieces on them. But, and I don't like off-brand stuff, so, of course you can't, I'm talking about, these are the name brand controllers I'm doing. Not off-brand, because I mean off-brand, any off-brand, I could give a crap. I mean, nowadays they're a lot more like the original and really don't feel that different. But it seemed like back in the day they had to make them pretty different in size and structure so they didn't get like copyrighted or something. I don't know. But this thing is huge. This stick gets loose quickly. I've replaced some of these joysticks and opened them up, and they just seem really complicated to do what they need to do. I don't like the big button, little button thing. I'd rather the buttons were all the same size. This shoulder button's about useless. When are you going to use it? Then you got the trigger, which I don't mind the trigger, but it's really, I don't know, it was a good experiment maybe. I mean, I know the Wii controller has that trigger on the back, but I could care. I don't have a Wii yet. Not to say I won't get one, because I probably will, because I want Metroid Other M, but I don't know if I want to buy a whole system for that. So I collect these because they're unique, and there's a shitload of different colors. So I've got probably 8 or 10 of these. But as far as using them for the console, I don't think so. I mean, I found that one black one that. I'm trying to think. I'm not going to dig it out because I got a ton of controllers out already. That has a joystick more to the side and it's more configured like an original controller. And that one was easier for me to use, but at the same time, it's just like, it wasn't worth it. I don't know. You know, something about the 64 just didn't ever hit me very hard. And even when I think back on the games, there's very few other than Ocarina of Time that I really cared about. Part of that's because I'm not a huge Mario fan. I mean, I love Nintendo, but I'm not a huge Mario fan, and I know I might get some flack for that, but I just never really cared for the Mario titles that much. Second least favorite, we're going to have to shoot one of Mitch's favorites down. I hated this controller with a passion, and that would be the 3-button Genesis controller, folks. This thing is so huge. It's still huge even today when my hands are bigger. It only has 3 buttons on it. It feels hollow because it's so damn big. The control pad felt stiff, and it just felt like there was all this wasted plastic, where there's 1 button here and 3 here, and there's just all this plastic. It was just huge. I couldn't stand these controllers. I mean, I got one of them with my system, and I think I quickly bought the 6-button controller. I mean, within like a week, I had one. So I just couldn't stand it. I got a ton of these too. I think the ones with the red letters are a little more rare, or people tend to collect those versus the just the plain ones. Some of them have really short cords. Like this cord is a decent length, some of these cords were, I swear they were like 2 feet long. It was just like that long, and that's it. I mean, and I'm not shitting you. If I find one of those Genesis controllers with like the 2-foot cord, I'll leave it out and I'll show you guys, because it's ridiculous. It's like half the length of this cord on this one. But look at the size difference. Here's the 6-button Genesis and the 3-button, and look at that. I mean, this one was smaller and it had more buttons on it. The control pad was not nearly as stiff as these suckers. The only thing I never understood about this was the mode button. You never use that mode button for anything. So I didn't ever understand why it had them. But I within a week, I had bought one of these, and I wasn't using this anymore. Especially because I think I bought like Street Fighter 2 or Mortal Kombat like like a week or two after I got it, and you needed this 6-button on. I think it was Street Fighter Championship Edition. I'm wasting time winding the cords, folks. But another thing, this is what I'm saying. I was coming from playing with something like this. Everybody knows this, the Nintendo NES regular controller, although I use the Max most of the time. But this is your standard NES controller, and look at the size difference here. We're talking this, and then going from this to this thing. I mean, it was like, you know, freaking way huge. I couldn't stand it. It just felt too big and too bulky. Big's not always bad, because I'm going to show you some couple that you know, made my favorite list, and one of them's pretty bulky. But I don't know, Mitch, man. I just can't stand the 3-button Genesis controller. It just was too big for me. Let's see. Next, I'm going to do a 2, and then I kind of have a tie for 1, and I hate to do ties, but I always do. So we'll figure that out next. But big, as I was saying, big and bulky doesn't necessarily mean bad, because my next controller is one of my favorites, and it's a system that I came across real late, and that would be the Dreamcast. And here is a Dreamcast controller. It's big, you know, no kidding, it's big. But it's comfortable. I mean, you hold it like this, the shoulder buttons, you have, you know, 2 shoulder buttons right there, or triggers, whatever you want to call them, and 4 on the front. They're, you know, in a comfortable spot for your thumb. It's got an analog stick, which is sweet. It's in a comfortable position for your thumb. The directional pad is not in a bad spot. I mean, it's easy to use. But you mainly use your analog stick and your 4 buttons on the front. And these, I mean, these right here, and it's just, everything's in the right spot on this controller. Except for one thing. People thought the cord coming out of the bottom was a bad idea. And I know they even put this clip on here so you can do that and make it come out the top, which is kind of an odd thing. I never do that. I always just leave it coming out the bottom, which is fine. And then it's got your 2 slots on top. It's got one for the Rumble Pack, which these Rumble Packs did not have to use batteries, because the Dreamcast controllers had a current that flowed through them via that metal strip. Because it also needed to run the VMU card. This is my favorite feature of the controller, and I was sad to see that this never made it into any other one. I love playing games and looking at this little VMU and seeing what's going on. Sometimes it'll just say the name of the game. On the Resident Evil, it actually shows like a heart monitor thing going up and down, which I really love. Just whatever. This VMU thing makes this controller for me so much better. It put it in my second favorite, and I love it. I'm missing a yellow one, but I have blue, red, green, and black, and I think I have the correct colored VMUs for each one. I really want a yellow one of these, but I haven't been able to really run across one. And the one I saw online, they wanted like $28 for, and it wasn't even new, and I was like, I can't do that. So I keep my eye out, but this controller I think is awesome. So this is my second favorite, and then we're gonna have a 2-1 tie. I hate to do this. And really, I mean, I can only do this because of one game caused this to be the way it is, which sounds funny, but it's true. If you would have asked me this a year and a half ago, I probably would have said this controller. And the controller is the DualShock 2 PS2 controller. I know Mitch showed the PS3 controller, and I looked at it, and I thought that his reasoning behind why he really loved it made sense to me. They're a lot like this controller. There's not a hell of a lot different. Each button is in an awesome spot. It's got the 4 top buttons. He said these 2 buttons on the other one were a little different. But your directional pads, your 2 dual analog, you know, there's no wasted plastic here. It's got vibration inside. Dual analog. This controller is one of my favorite controllers of all time, and will continue to be. And I don't know. It's kind of like when the PS1 DualShock came out with the dual analogs. And I remember when I first got one of those ones with the analogs and tried to use the analog stick to control the guy, how bad it was. And I can't believe how far it's come now. But this would have been a year and a half, the controller I would show you. But my number one favorite, that's why I'm saying tie, but actually, we'll go 3, 2, 1. I'm really getting dry here. Sorry. Number one controller, Xbox 360 controller. Not a lot different, really, to be honest, aside from the ergonomic shape. We got 4 on the front, we got 4 on the top. We got 2 analog sticks and a directional pad, but they're swapped. You got a select button and a start button. Only difference is your Xbox dashboard button and the shape and the fact that they swap these. But this controller I used for Fallout 3. Actually, I used a corded one that I hooked to my USB for my PC. But this controller I used playing Fallout 3, and it became my favorite controller. Just because this one is a little more straight-lined, and this one's a little more ergonomic. You know, it's got smooth, rounder edges than this. And the fact the analogs are swapped doesn't really make a difference to me. And since it's got the same amount of buttons, that's awesome. But it just feels more round, and it feels good, more right in the hand, I guess, for me. So that's my number one. I'm going to sign off. We're pushing the limits of the amount of talking I can do before my voice gives out. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Glad you could see me without my glasses on and my hat. But they'll probably be going back on. So I'm going to sign off, folks. Thanks for watching.